Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Xah Talk Show. Today is 2021, July 28th. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, San Francisco time. And today we are going to do a bunch of, I'm going to talk about keyboards and Emacs Lisp coding and Wolfram language coding, okay? Now there's a question, Celtic Orthodox. Since you have not indicated a topic, I suggest Lilypond or Emacs Calc. Okay, Lilypond I haven't used. Lilypond is a Emacs package for doing musics. Lilypond, okay. I haven't used that. I'm not sure it's good. Okay, it seems good. Okay, Lilypond music notation for everyone. Lilypond is a music engraving program. Engraving, they have to use that word. Engraving program. I'm not sure it's proper. You don't, I don't think you engrave music notation. Perhaps, possibly in music community that's said that, but I'm not sure. Okay, so it's a music notation program devoted to producing the highest quality sheet music possible. It brings the aesthetics of traditional engraved music to computer printouts. Lilypond is a free software and part of the Knuth project. Okay, so music engraving software, that's interesting, but how does it work? Okay, Lilypond is a powerful and flexible tool for engraving tasks of all kinds. Okay, now it's all kinds. For example, classical music, like the example above, or complex notation, or early music. Okay, let's see what they are. Early music, modern music, tablature, vocal music, lead sheets, educational materials, large orchestral projects, customizing outputs, or even Schenker graphs. Okay, let's see what they are. What are you talking? Okay, so this is complex notation. Okay, so it looks like all these are the same page with the pound sign jump points. Okay, so let's see what they are. And about calc, I talked about calc is sucks. Calc, Emacs calc sucks. I talked about recently. You shouldn't use that. I'll give you an alternative to calc. Okay, so let's post today's topic. We talked about, and okay, so let's finish talking about Lilypond first. Okay, so let me see Lilypond. Okay, magnify. If you are here, say hi. Okay, roll count. 5 people watching. Okay, so let's see. Okay, Lilypond, beautiful examples, classical music, yeah. Click to enlarge. Okay, let's see. Okay, Bach. No, this is Jules, Johann Sebastian Bach. Okay, complex notation. Okay, that's still classical music. Okay, early music. Okay, modern music. Okay, modern music. What is this? Contemporary composers find Lilypond well suited to display unusual notation. Here's an excerpt from Trevor Bach's Carré for unaccompanied bass flute. Hi, Code Bamboo. Okay, so Celtic Orthodox. So what's your? I suppose you are a musician, and I suppose you use Lilypond. Or what? I mean, what's your question? Like, don't suggest me a topic. Ask any questions you have. Do you have a question? So Lilypond, efficient, flexible creation of performance materials. But anyway, so Lilypond is just for doing music notation of many types. Okay, not any kind of thing. It's just for music notation of any type. Lead sheets. So this is guitar. By the way, I got a guitar. A friend gave me a guitar. Now I have to show. You know, I hated guitars. I hated guitars because the shape and all that is idiotic. So I never played guitar before. But now I got the guitar. Beautiful sound. You know, I don't know how to play. I don't know how to play guitar at all. So, but I do play piano, and it's been 10 years, you know, my poverty for about 20 years I have not played piano, but I love piano. And recently, last month also, I've been looking, you know, in the 1990s, I played piano. I learned piano, played some and practiced mostly classical scales, and looked into synthesizers. So anyway, Lilypond, I don't know anything about it. I wonder how it works though. So it's a Emacs package, right? So Caltech, are you still here? Say something, okay? Questions, comments, say something. What is your interest in Lilypond? What do you want me to say about it? You know, so according to the, you know, their website, it seems pretty good. But you never know with this open source. You know, when you try it, you never know. But I heard, you know, Lilypond is pretty old. It's more than 10 years old. Okay, I never tried it. I probably would try it if I was, you know, in the 1990s, because, you know, but now I'm getting old, so I don't have time to, you know. So close all that, because they are all just. So here's Wikipedia. Lilypond is a computer program and file format. Okay, for music engraving. Now let's look up music engraving. Why do they use the word engraving? Music engraving is the art of drawing music notation at high quality for the purpose of mechanical reproduction. The term music copying is almost equivalent, though music engraving implies a higher degree of skill and quality, usually for publication. Okay, so apparently, the name of the process originates in plate engraving, a widely used technique dating from the late 16th century. Okay, yeah. So I guess so. The term music engraving is historical. You know that. So I suppose that in the music printing business, music notation printing community, sometimes they still say music engraving, but it's just music notation printing. Okay, computer engraving or computer setting. So in a similar way, typesetting. Typesetting, the most idiotic crap typesetting. You call it typesetting, although you don't set things anymore. You have the typographic blocks, you set them up, then you can print them. So, but that's not what you do today. So music engraving. I talked about typesetting many times. Typesetting is one of the Unix fanatics, Linux. These hacker types idiots. They love typesetting. Especially kerning. Those are crap. Okay, those are time-wasting, useless crap. In fact, I would further go on to say the Western font, the Western printing, the concept of font is one of the greatest waste of time in humanity. Okay, so I need to show you some articles. Okay, I talked about this for an hour or two in my past videos a few times. So I just want to point out one of my articles on font, and okay, font size problem, typography sucks. Okay, so this article. So here's XahTalk show, 2020, October 3rd. Why typography sucks? Typography, those of you Emacs users, Linux, Vim users, typically these people love typography. They get excited. They piss in their pants when it comes to font, a new font. Every few years, some nerds, You created new font. Oh, this is the best font. The worst idiotic time-wasting crap possible. Typography, not just among the nerds. The concept of font and typography in Western society, it's a Western society thing. Okay, typography in Chinese, you also have calligraphy and you do typography when you print something, but it's not the same thing. It's rather very different. Okay, but anyway, the word typography as we know it in English is kind of a Western tradition. It's not just a tradition; it's a establishment. You have fontography is part of it. Then you have the foundry. The the houses usually basically elite. Foundry houses, they make fonts. They create fonts. Anyway, so typography is it's a waste of time. Okay, it's no good. It's idiotic. So when in my talk show I dramatize my words a little bit. So it's not exactly it's part of the culture. So you can't say it's a waste of time. Just like dancing. Is dancing a waste of time? Well, in some sense, yes. You are wasting your time. You should spend it on go work, make food. Make money, make food, or something. But dancing is part of relaxation and anyway, so part of culture. Okay, typography is a Western culture, but it has so the way to say is that it has been greatly exaggerated their importance by typically by nerd idiots and also foundry and Donald Knuth and Steve Jobs. Donald Knuth is the most idiotic victim of typography. He fell into it and he created TeX, one of the worst technology possible for typesetting mathematics. I did a talk show about that. You should look up. You should check it out. Okay. Because when I say there's also article. Okay. I talked about this many times. TeX pestilence. Why LaTeX sucks? They just they suck, not just sucks, but they suck donkey ass in the most fundamental way. Okay. And so you should check out this article, and also one of my talk show I talked about that. I did a lot of talk show about that. Okay, so I got a lot of things to say. Hold on a second. So the TeX pestilence, you should read it, and there's a talk show at the bottom. Then you go to XahCode, which is my homepage. Then the video here, 2021, May 6th. Wolfram language typesetting, TeX, problems of traditional math notation, syntax and proof systems. They are all related. Okay, they are all these topics are intimately related. Typesetting, TeX, traditional math notation, syntax and proof systems. Okay, because when you do math, how are they related? So for example, typesetting, right? Now, if you are a mathematician, okay, you should go. So I'm saying go watch this video. Okay, I explain. So if you are doing typesetting, if you are doing mathematics, you need math notation. When you need math notation, you need typesetting. Typesetting is used to do it, and also sometimes you can use you choose to use LaTeX or TeX. So they are related, and also syntax and proof systems. So what's a syntax? Syntax is related to notation, syntax and notation. So what's the difference? So notation is a way of a particular way or system or style and tradition, again, all related, of writing, of presenting certain written material. So for example, mathematics. So that's notation. But what's a syntax? Syntax is like a notation, but it's more systematic. Okay, it's more it has a grammar. It's more codified grammar and syntax to grammar to go with it. It's so it's a system. So you can in short, syntax is kind of a system for a notation. Okay, so and proof systems. So when you do math, math notations, you have to do that notations. Then LaTeX or traditional math notation. Then it relates to proof systems, because when you write math, math, you have to do proofs, and proofs are heavily. So what is proof systems? They are they are logic. They are foundation of mathematics in the field. The code, the name of the field is logic. Okay, mathematical logic. And when you do logic, you don't just verbally talk about it. You have to write it down. So logic constitutes a there are so many branches of logic, but mostly you write them down to do proofs. Okay, so logic, and once you write it down, you have to write in a systematic way, notation. Then especially in the past 100 years, it becomes systematic. So in fact, it becomes a computer language, as you know, Haskell, COQ, COQ, the French, the proof assistant, so-called proof assistant systems. So these are really, anyway, so watch this video. Okay, so let's click that. So this is the website for that. So let's post that, and also let's go to, let me write down what we talked about. So this is a homework for you guys to study. Okay, so this video, I failed to have a link to my to my canonical link. So let me do that. Okay, so split the window, open that, show the pink window. The pink window shows all my Emacs command and keys. Okay, now search for YouTube. So here is the YouTube corresponding to there. I want to link to the canonical link on my website for this YouTube. So where is that? That is in XahTalk Show. So go to XahTalk Show, and you need to find the date. Okay, so that's a bookmark. So search for the date here. 2019 March 23rd. Okay, search for it. There it is. So this one. Okay, so open it. So show in browser. So that is the canonical URL for this XahTalk Show. Okay, now click on, now go here, paste it, linkify. So the title is Download Knuth TeX Instruction Set Architecture Math ML Mathematica Act. Okay, so download Knuth TeX Instruction. Yeah, so there. Okay, so now show in browser. Go all the way to the bottom. There it is, a link to the canonical my page. So okay, highlight, there is a highlight. Okay, so anyway, so you can, usually my talk show is long, I ramble over, so this one is 90 minutes, so skip around. So if you are watching my video, my YouTube, I would appreciate if you watch my video, you make comments, okay? Not just online, but when you are offline, make comment to my YouTube. And also, one of the great things is if you highlight certain timestamp and comment on it. Yeah, that will be appreciated. Also, if you watch YouTube, if you go YouTube, watch YouTube. YouTube in the past few months, they have a new feature. They have a new feature which allows you to show the transcript. Let's see that. Okay, here. Okay, you click on that, open transcript. Okay, so you can actually copy the entire transcript. So if you are a busy man, in modern society, you are a busy man. You don't have time to watch 1 hour video. You need 1 minute videos. So you can open transcript and copy it and search and find what, or just read the transcript. Okay, the transcript is fantastic. Close that. Okay, now we talked about TeX precedence. Close it. Then what is this page? XahTalk Show. Yeah. So do I have a link? Yes. Okay, so I need to copy that to paste that here, do that. Let me just edit it, okay? So you don't know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing. So TeX, that's the article, why TeX sucks, typography. Then this video I talked about, I give you a video talk about these topics. Then this one is this one is the most technical. This is Wolfram language typesetting. I demonstrate typesetting in Wolfram language. Why it illustrates why TeX and LaTeX sucks the donkey ass, the worst technology, wasting mathematicians' time. Okay, so this video, okay, so I all linked on my talk show page. So later on, I'll update my website. You can find it, XahTV. Okay, so this is today, and I'll be updating it to my website, Sync it. Okay, so talk show. So so back to Lilypond. We haven't finished that. So it looks like today we're just gonna talk about this. So also I want to show, so this article, again, there's another talk show. I talked about this quite a few times. Typesetting, it gets onto my nerves. Western obsession, especially among the hackers, Emacs, Vim, the programmers, they font. I have, on my website, I have like over 20 articles about font, or I despise typography, and I despise the obsession with the font. Okay, and I have a lot of articles, and one of the problem. Let me talk about this. Okay, one of the major problem of font. Now, this is not really related to what we were talking about, why typography sucks. But anyway, this issue, font size problem, is a practical, a very big problem today on for web dev. The CSS, today we are using computer fonts, right? So anyway, it's a big problem. It's a big practical problem, and it's not solved. It's I'm not sure it will be solved. And I have not seen, in my 20 years, all the hacker news, the Reddit, the Slashdot, the tech geekers, they talking about programming language and so on and so on for 20 years. I have not seen anyone talking about this issue that I found. But actually I did. About a year ago, I did find someone finally mentioned exactly the same problem I see. It's a big problem, but it's just that the nerds, they don't, they don't think. That's why the nerds, they just follow fashion and fads. They hear what others say and they repeat it. Like Emacs is the greatest editor. Or Vim's got new version, Neo Vim. They talk about that all the time, every day, day and night. The idiot the hacker types and programmer Emacs Vim people. So font size problem. What is problem? Let me give me 1 minute summarize. Okay, font size. So in CSS you can specify font size, right? In CSS, by the way, I have a tutorial on CSS. Okay, complete CSS from the ground up. Okay, so if you want to study CSS, you can check out my tutorial. So copy it, paste it to here. So we have a topic of a record of what we talked about. Ooh, what's going on? So Xah talk show. So visual CSS. Okay, so my CSS tutorial. Okay, go check it out. Okay, so now, but we were talking about font size problem. Okay, font size problem. Do I have a, no, I don't have the link. So let's link it as a record of what we talked about today. There it is, font size problem. So what is the problem? So we do, today web dev, you specify font size by CSS. So you say font size 48 pixels, okay, and font family, sans serif, and so on. And then, but the thing is, the font size, you specify a size, but actually the size, it's 48 here, it's also 48 here, but apparently you can see they are not the same size. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck? So this means, you say, you specify, so you say you will, for example, title or whatever. You say you want the font size of 48 pixels, okay? But then tomorrow you think, okay, maybe I prefer to have serif font or something. You change your font, then your font size fucking changes because everything will become a mess because they go over the box or something. They got wrapped in the wrong place. That's a problem. That's a big problem. This is a major idiocy of the web tech industry. The hacker types, they're talking about Haskell, Lisp every day. Oh, we should improve. So Lisp is a better language. Haskell is a better language, and so on. They never talk about this. This is actually far more bigger problem, the practical problem. These idiots. So font size problem, okay. So you might be wondering, so let's look at this picture illustrate the problem. So you see the blue box, that's what is meant by font size. So when you say font size, it is of a given font, it has a blue box, okay? So these two blue box, it's called what's the name? Anyway, the blue box, okay, it's the typography people call it a design box or something, okay? So that's the font size. But then inside that blue box, then you design your font, okay? So for example, these two fonts, now remember both of them are serif, okay? It's not like, oh, one is sans serif, one is serif, therefore they are different. No, both of them, any font, okay, both of them are exact. I mean, you design your font inside this blue box. There's no standard specified that your bottom should be at certain point, and there's nothing like that. So what does that mean? In practice, that means the font size, thing is like meaningless, a meaningless fuck. This is in CSS, okay? The fuck, whoever, who created CSS. The person who created CSS in my opinion, is a fuckhead. He is the same guy who invented the Opera browser. Okay, Opera browser in the 1990s. It's one of the best one. But why? But I don't. I think I don't like him because he is a heavy Microsoft hater. Okay, he's a Scandinavian. Okay, he's a heavy Microsoft hater. So he blather, FUD, fear, uncertainty. He blathered lies, okay, fake news about Microsoft all the time. Like he's a major hater of Microsoft. But anyway, he created Opera, the browser, which eventually become Vivaldi. I'm using, 20 years history. Vivaldi, okay. This is a browser. This is Vivaldi. So he's a hater of Microsoft, and he. And I have an article on that, okay? So Opera sucks, okay? Restore last session in IE, Firefox, Safari, Chrome, Opera, okay? How to disable JavaScript? No, those are old articles. Those are, irrelevant today because technology changed the browser. They changed their settings and, But anyway, So what is this one? Opera browser can't load Twitter CSS. OSCP error. Okay, I don't even remember what is that one. So this is 2013. I don't know. I don't remember what's that. But anyway, this one is 2010. Why Opera browser sucks? Okay, this is 2010. Opera began in the 1990s, around 2000. And back then, it was one of the best browser, but it's always weird. Okay, so digressions. Okay, but let me copy it. So paste it here. And what's the other article? I don't remember this one. Okay, so Opera browser. So I have a article. Okay, so I detail why Opera browser sucks. Now remember, this is in 2010. Opera just since 2010, about it just degraded and got sold. I think it got sold to to China or something. Then it, because it cannot make money. These open source fuckheads. This Opera, the boss of Opera. He's trying to. He hates Microsoft, but then he folded. Anyway, so So 2010, I detail why Opera sucks in 2010. Okay, then so eventually, 4 years ago, Opera switched to the Google Chrome's browser engine called Blink. I talked about this in my recent videos, like last month also, for 1 hour about browsers. So anyway, Opera Pen. Okay. Opera does not support side scroll by scroll wheel, okay, and so on. Microsoft hating, okay, so here is the passage I want to mention, I think. So this guy, anyway, this is an old article, okay, so there's, anyway, it's an old article, so why Opera browser sucks. Okay, so let's see what's okay. So show my talk show. So a log of what topics we talked about. Close that. We ignore that. Close that. Back. Font size problem. Yeah, this is a good one. Okay, remember this one. Now I do remember a year or two ago, someone else actually talked about this issue, and. Do I have a link? No. So this is a big issue, and it's not likely to be fixed anytime soon. It's just been that way. Okay, yeah. Back to what I was saying. So Opera, the Opera guy, whatever is his name, he created. He is essentially the inventor of CSS. This is back in year 1999, people are proposing to the W3C organization, the web standard, to have a way to specify style. So there are many proposals, and eventually the CSS cascading style sheet won. Okay, but it is not him. Okay, this font size problem. It is not him who created this problem. I would blame. Who created this problem? Donald Knuth, the idiot Donald Knuth, created this problem. No, this is not to blame. Okay, he created the problems indirectly. Okay, so he's not really like he created the problem, but indirectly, because he failed to see, because what happens is that fontography. Okay, I want to show you the Wikipedia, the font, the typeface and stuff. Okay, not Wiktionary, Fontographer, Wikipedia. Okay, Fontographer is a font editor. Okay, I don't care about digital fonts. Okay, let's click on digital. Let's click on typeface. I want to go to type design. I want to go to typography. Okay, typographer, then typology, topography. Okay, type settings. Okay, so anyway, here's a picture. I want to show you this. So this is where the concept of font originates from. I mean, there's something else before this, but this is one of the, so each one of these metal bar are a little piece of metal. You set it, you set them, each one is a letter. You place them in this thing. So that's setting, you set them up. then when it's all good, then you can print it. Okay, that's why it's typesetting, and each one of these is called a type, I guess, something like that. So anyway, so you see, this technology is very different. Today we use computers. There's a lot of changes. So but many of the concept that's relevant to this got passed over, which became irrelevant. And one of such issue is the font size. Okay, the font size. Okay, but the Donald Knuth, this guy, I never liked. I never liked, Donald Knuth is a great computer scientist, but turns out I never liked his writings. I don't like the things he did. I don't like his creations. I don't like his writings. I don't like his writing style. Okay, there are many other computer scientists and mathematicians I do like their writing style and so on. I don't like Donald Knuth, and it so happens among the Unix C++, this idiot, Unix, Linux, C++, they are chanting Donald Knuth every day. Typography, idiots, okay? So font size, so where does this problem came from? Well, I don't know the history in detail, but I'm pretty sure it came from, it's inherited from these. Okay, because the size back then, they don't use pixels. They have pica and let me show you, okay? So you go to CSS, you go to my CSS, and there's a CSS unit. So font, they use, so here's a traditional unit for font, typography, okay? Point and pica, okay? PT and PC. Yeah, a point is 1/72 a fraction of an inch, and a pica is 1/6 of an inch. Anyway, so those size, what does those size refer to? I suppose they refer to the actual, like I talked about, like they refer to some physical size, but not the actual printed part. So that's why today it's a problem, okay? So that's why we got this problem, font size problem. Google and all these giant corporations get, they are saying, oh, they are creating new technology, this and that. But if you are really trying to help humanity fix this font size fucking problem, this Google or these standard organizations, W3C or the the what the fuck group. Anyway, that's about typography, okay? So another rant over typography. Now let's get back to Lilypond, I guess. So we talked about music engraving, okay? So apparently it's called music engraving. So let's. Okay, so they call it music engraving, then Lilypond. So what do I want to know about Lilypond? I don't know. Movable type. That's another, that's another old, irrelevant concept. Movable type. Yeah. So movable type refers to that. So let's see. So movable type refers to. Yeah, so this is a seal. It's kind of similar to the idea of a seal. Okay, so that's a history of movable type from China. Okay, seal, which is just a stamp. Okay, you stamp things over. But okay, so here it is. This is a type founding. That's a thing. Then this is a ligature. This is the fucking obsession with the Western people, obsession with the ligature. Idiotic idiots. Like if you have FI, like if if you just have FI, these people, they got a problem in their brain, okay? So this is FI. And the way when they see this, they say, "Oh no, you cannot have that." They need they need to have, let's see, what is the, do I have it? Yeah. They need to have the, wait. No, that's what? That's Greek I. So, okay. Now I need to show you the unicode ligature. Okay. So let's show it then, since I'm showing it. So you go to my Unicode and search for FI, then let's search for LIGA. Okay, so these are ligatures. These are ligatures you are seeing. So FI. You know, another thing interesting is that you see ligature. Okay, yeah. So for example, this FI, but you see they are not connected. Okay, that's another interesting thing about Unicode. Okay, so so in here it is. Okay, so you see this is a ligature, this is FI. So when these nerds, the typography idiots, when they see this FI, they say, oh no, you cannot have that, we need to have, they need to be closer. Then you got this, you got this what's the word? Anyway, you got this ugly crap. But to them, this is the better way, okay? Anyway, so this is the concept of ligature, okay? So actually, let's copy it. Let's go back to talk show. Close that. Let me paste it, okay? Let me do some Emacs magic so you can see. So let's magnify. So let's put it here. So I press a key. So this, you see, this is one character. I press a key, and it becomes marked up with a Unicode mark. Okay, so let me type LIGATURE. Okay, so this is the most common example of a ligature, FI. So show in browser. So go down, magnify, so you can see here. Okay, over here, it's showing two distinct letters. That's not how it's supposed to be. It should be, it should be, what? It should be like that. What? It should be like that. Wait, why is that? Oh yeah, okay. So it should be like that. Now, let me talk about another thing that's very interesting. So this is a Unicode ligature, okay? Let's go back to the Unicode search, okay? Let me also copy that and put it here. So we have a history of our topic we talked about, okay? So ligature. So you see, this is a Unicode ligature, okay? Let's magnify. So this character is actually one single character in Unicode. Okay, so if you go down here, you can see, where is it? There, okay. So this character is actually one single character, with code point 60, 64257, or in hexadecimal FB01. Okay, that's one single character, Unicode character, and the name of the character is Latin small ligature FI. Okay, but however, notice what the fuck? Why is it not connected? That's a point. That's a whole point of ligature. Why is it not connected? Is that a bug? Who designed this font? It must be an idiot, right? What the fuck? It's a ligature, but it's not showing us a ligature. What's going on? Well, it turns out when you study, I'm into these things. I study this in details. It turns out the Unicode ligature, okay, this character, the Unicode, organization, they say that the font for this needs not necessarily be actual a ligature, but rather they provide this character so that it's more compatible, for transcoding, for transcoding, character sets from one to another and so on. So they can. So for certain other reasons, they have this character, but Unicode says the actual font for this character needs not to actually be ligatures. Okay, so you have lots of complexities. Okay. So for some font, it will show as a ligature, but for other fonts, for example, the one I'm using, I believe it's Arial. Okay, so for example, you can see developer tools, inspect. So we are using Vivaldi. So it's Arial. Okay, so the what's going on? Yeah, so here is the font of this is actually Arial. It doesn't use so Unicode says that's good. That's not a bug, because Unicode does not require the font to be Ligature. So that's more complication. So this is another why software industry is extremely complex. Okay, so I want to show you XahCode. So this is part of the complexity and tedium of software engineering. You work every day, you work at Google, you go there, code every day for 8 hours a day or something. But actually, most of, in practice, usually you code an hour a day. The rest of the time you spend talking, meeting and stuff. But anyway, so, this ligature thing is another complexity and tedium of software engineering. You spend all your day doing this and, oh God, this doesn't work. Why is it not showing that, this crashed? Or what's going on with the Unix shell, bash, incomprehensible complexity, fuck. Okay, that's a giant digression to another rant about typesetting. Okay, so close that. So it all starts from Lilypond. Okay, the book, Donald Knuth, one of the greatest computer scientists, he wrote the book, The Art of Computer Science. That's a good book, I suppose, but it's not really my style. Okay, but it's a great book. I read it in 1992. I tried to read it in 1992, the volume 1. I don't understand it because now I know why. Well, yeah. So now it's 30 years. Like my life is over. So you look back at your youth, and when you are young, you have lots of questions in life and in technology. You have lots of in mathematics. I had. But usually when you become old, you know what's going on. So back then I read it, because Donald Knuth, his book, the volume 1 is he's using assembly language. Okay, he's using a assembly language to illustrate algorithm. To teach algorithms. Okay, many issues and concepts in algorithms. The art of the book is called The Art of Programming, not The Art of Computer Science. Okay, I guess that's what you mean. Okay, The Art of Programming. Okay, so I guess all of you know this book by now. I mean, I don't have to show it. So here is his website, Donald Knuth website. This is website 1999 style. I'm not sure he even uses CSS. Let's have a look. Control U. Okay, and okay, so HTML4. Yeah, he's HTML5. What the fuck is HTML5? What the fuck is all that stuff? It's HTML4. So this is website, very simple. You see, this is a classic website, web source. You web dev today, you JavaScript idiots. This is classic. You can actually understand everything in the source code of HTML. Here's a list item. Here's a paragraph. P very readable. Okay, readable. H3, header 3, as opposed to today's JavaScript. Let's look at Lilypond source code. Okay, the Lilypond source code is still good. Okay, these are the GNU nerds. Okay, but if you look at any of the Twitter or Google search or basically any New York Times, CNN, this fake news, any website. You look at their source code, they're fucking incomprehensible, like jumbled up, it's a mess. It's a JavaScript, technology, React.js, fuck. So anyway, Knuth website, okay, so it's interesting. So Knuth website, so his book, he tries to teach the art of computer programming. He tries to teach algorithms or related concept by using a assembly language, okay, which is assembly language, which is almost the lowest level of programming language for the actual machine, the CPU. And the assembly language he uses is actually a artificial one, okay? So he created it, called MMIX, okay? So MMIX homepage, MMIX Knuth page, MMIX Wikipedia. Okay, let's go to Wikipedia. So yeah, he's got this classic classic logo, MMIX. Okay, so here is a Wikipedia page. You can see now, the logo is not bad, but oh god, bitmap. Somebody updated to SVG, please. Donald Knuth is getting old. He's like 80 years old or 90 or something, okay? He's pretty old now. I actually saw him about 5 years ago at Computer Science Museum, just down here. 30 minutes walk from where I am. It's nearby, Google headquarters and Computer Science Museum and my home is all like nearby, 30 minutes walk. So I met, 5 years ago. So he's very old. You can also watch him on YouTube. He doesn't. I don't think. Anyway, he's got old videos and So he uses the MMIX. So let's read it. Okay, MMIX is a 64-bit reduced instruction set computing architecture designed by Donald Knuth, with significant contributions by John L. Hennessy, who contributed to the design of the MIPS architecture. Okay, so these are related to hardware. In recent years, I spent some time to study computer hardware, because before that, I don't know anything about computer hardware. I don't know anything about CPU, GPU, how exactly they work. But in the past 5 years, I started to read some, so I have some understanding. So I'm more into mathematics, high-level mathematics, So I don't know, this CPU hardware or C++ programming. So I don't, So anyway, so he is using this assembly language, okay? And the reason is that he believes in order to actually teach you, for you to actually really understand computer programming, you need to get down to the machine. Okay, that's his reason. Okay, yeah, that's true. But I guess in some way that's true. But on the other hand, for comparison, for example, there's a SIG book. Okay, let me show you. Okay, this book. Now, this book is also written by reputed computer scientists. They are famous in Lisp community. For Harold Aberson, Gerard J. Sussman, and Julie Sussman. Okay, they created. I believe some of them. They are the founder of the Scheme Lisp programming language in the 1970s also. So, and this book is very popular, very famous, very well, reviewed. So these are also computer scientists, but their book their book doesn't talk nothing about the assembly language crap. Okay, so I'm giving you two different perspectives. This book, also by Great Computer Science, they teach you programming. Okay, they don't talk about assembly, the low-level CPU crap. But Knuth believes, he in his opinion, he wanted the assembly, the machine code assembly language perspective, because he believed that way you actually learn better or something. So so what I'm trying to say is that it is not absolutely true that to teach this computer programming or you have to know assembly. That's just not true. There are pros and cons in either way. Okay, so that's why. So back in 1990s, I tried to read the volume 1, because this is the best book, everyone says. I read a lot review of books. So before I read the book, I have to spend days reviewing which in this field what are considered the best books. So I know about the art of computer programming. I know about Mathematica for the same reason. If I want a math software, which one is the best? What people say, you do research for days. Okay, so that I bought Mathematica back in 1993. So anyway, so I tried to read it. I don't get it, but now I know why. Because you have to understand assembly, and in order to understand that, you have to understand, basically you have to have the whole picture about how computer works. You have to, first of all, you need to have a machine. It may be a CPU, maybe an abacus, or maybe your fingers. Okay, those are also machines. Okay, computers. Your hands is a computer. Okay, for example, 1 + 1, you do the algorithm is like that. then you count 1, 2, 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, so first of all you have to have a machine. Then you have kind of instruction set that says what can be done to the machine. How do you operate the machine? Instruction set. Okay, so raise the right hand index finger, that's an instruction set. Okay, lower the right hand index finger, that's another instruction set. So you have like 20 instruction set for your fingers machine. So you have an instruction set. Then from instruction set, basically the instruction set forms the assembly language. So you can have a writing system to describe how to raise one finger or how to lower one finger. So you start to have a notation system like we talked about with syntax. So that becomes the assembly language for your fingers machine. So you can actually write code to do finger calculation. Okay, that's the assembly language. So Knuth says that you have to understand this. So Knuth invented one, MMIX. That's the assembly language for a machine, for a virtual machine. So once you understand, once you have assembly language, then you can have higher level programming language, which is kind of a wrapper to the assembly language. It translates to assembly language or translates to the instruction set. So higher level algorithms. Then you start to have programming languages, different programming languages. Then what does the source code mean? Source code just means a particular written, a specific written instruction set to do something. That's a source code. And what's a programming language? Programming language is a particular set of keywords that ultimately translates to assembly language. Okay, so once I did for 20 years, I didn't get this until 10 years ago. So once you know this, the whole picture, then, so then you would understand this, Knuth way of thinking, his perspective very well. So you have to have the whole thing. Of course, like I said, this is not the only way. Okay, you don't, for example, you can talk about lambda calculus, or you can talk about Turing machine, or you can talk about combinators. All these are foundation. All these are kind of abstract machines, And these, when you talk about this, you can build the entire computer science on lambda calculus or on combinators or on Turing machine. Okay, you can talk about the entire computer science on these without the MMIX or the assembly line or CPU, the actual Intel or whatever CPU. Okay, that's the background about Knuth. So I don't really like the Knuth inventions and style. Okay, I suppose today I can read this book, but I'm too old. I need to study math. Other than this, I already know how to program pretty well. And also his book today is less and less useful because his book is talking about fundamental algorithms. Okay, fundamental algorithms. That is, you don't need them. Okay, you don't need to understand them because every 99.19, 1 in a million programmers do not need to understand any of these. Maybe you are a web programmer, maybe you write drivers, maybe you are a Linux kernel. Well, maybe not Linux kernel, but vast majority of programmers, you don't need to know much about algorithms at all because it's already written in Python libraries, in JavaScript, it's already in C libraries. Python calls C has libraries. Okay, so you don't, most of the time, vast majority, 1 in a million, you don't need it. When do you need it? When you are Linus, who created, when you are writing a operating system yourself, then you need Knuth's book because you cannot just, when you are writing an operating system, you cannot just, let's call a Python library, let's call Wolfram language. So that's, so it's very fundamental, okay, this art of computer programming. So we talked about 70 minutes already. Okay, so we didn't do anything I wanted to talk about, and we haven't talked about Emacs Calc yet. But maybe that's it for today. So what are you guys saying? Anything? Oh, now I have 12 people watching, 12 concurrent viewers. So Celtic is a violinist, okay? Boss says, okay, Prayer, do you just turn around your violin? Code Bamboo, what are your thoughts on Vim and its input mods, Vim's extensibility? What a strange question. Have you ever watched my videos? I mean, I got XahFly keys, which is a modal mod, just like Vim. Okay, Celtic says, concerning the idiocy of TeX, do you feel the same about TropGolf? Yeah. Or are these programs utilitarian and useful? I don't really actually know Trop and Graph. Those are the kind of the typesetting, the documentation technology of Unix in the 1970s. That's where Unix man page came from. You write Unix man page in Trop or Graph, then you say compile or format or whatever, then it come out the man page. Then you can use the man something to read it. Okay, that's Unix man page. So I actually never used it. Trop Graph, I never used it. I never studied it. So they are pretty much dead technology, Trop and Graph. So I don't know much about it. But I wouldn't say so. But I do not blame Trop and Graph as much as I would blame TeX. TeX is actually, I consider TeX is like a crime, because Trop and Graph is just a tool. Okay, it's every 10 years you gotta have some tools. They are not perfect, but they have to solve some problems. printing man pages, bold, part of the word you want to be bold and so on. So Trough and Growth, 1970s. But TeX and LaTeX is a kind of a crime. TeX and LaTeX, because they are meant to do mathematical typesetting. But the way Knuth went about it is completely wrong. So let me explain this in essence, okay? Typesetting. So typesetting is about mathematics, right? Mostly. That's a Knuth original intention. He created it to do typesetting for his, the art of computer programming. So math notations, that's what you want. You want the technology. Stop this. You want the technology to print math notations, okay? I talked about this, like check out one of my video where I talked about Wolfram language typesetting. The way Knuth did it is that he approached the problem from the traditional typesetting perspective. So, what is traditional typesetting? That's that. He came to the problem, of doing math notations with computers by kind of following the steps of the traditional typesetting. So basically, what he did is that he converted this technology into computers. That's a very bad way. He just went the wrong way. Okay. So the result. So what is the result? What's the problem? The problem is this. Okay. You look at this incomprehensible fact. Look at this one. Okay. So for example, we want to do the sum. The first one, sum n from 1 to k, sum 1 over n. Okay, just this. Okay. So the way you write it in TeX is this \sum underscore braces n equals 1 brace, and frac frac your ass. So he created, that's what he did. Knuth. This is TeX. On the other hand, look at this notation. Okay, I talked about this. I demonstrated in Mathematica in my video. So on the other hand, in Wolfram language, this is all you do. Okay, this is all you write. Very easy to understand and readable. Sum 1 over n from 1 to k, greater than integrate 1 over x 1 and k plus 1. That means from 1 to k plus 1, like that, very readable. And ASCII, no backslash and slash, the crap, the idiocy of the Knuth and the idiocy of the Linux, Unix, these hacker types, this Unix philosophy, dribbling open source facts. Let me just quickly type out the sum. So, I did the video, so you should check out that, like I mentioned before. So first of all, magnify so you can see. So let's type 3, start the kernel, and the sum, okay, sum 1 over x. So sum 1 over x from 1 to 10, let's say. Okay, so that's that. So what if to infinity? Okay, so that's that. Now if you want to format this in the typeset notation, you just press one single key, you see. And if you want to format it in a traditional notation, just press Control Shift T for traditional notation. Okay, you see the difference. Let me copy. Okay, so first of all, let's make it into input mode. Okay, so so let's copy. Okay, so 3 different ways. One is the input form. Okay, just like that. Then we have the standard form, a typeset like that. Then we have the traditional form. It types it like that. You know, how simple, how easy, how comprehensible is this syntax? Why the fuck? Why did someone, a smart guy, tells us to write backslash some underscore this crap? This is the harm of typesetting, because the brain, when someone invented the brain came from the typesetting realm. that's what you got. That's what you got. I'm in. I live where Google is at. Google. Okay, Google headquarters. Have you found practical use case of your own work that utilize WooFam? Of course, that's yeah, of course. I talked about this many times. My project since 1990s. The most popular math website online. A visual dictionary of spatial plane curves. Okay, all these are written in Mathematica in the 1990s, and this is one of the top, let's say, top 20 most popular math website on the internet from 1997 to 2007. So for 10 years, all these are written in Mathematica. Is the most kind of educational. All the universities math department linked to it. So you study. You teach math, calculus. You study. So all these are done in Mathematica. Analytic mind says, I use Linux, Vim, LaTeX, I like typography and ligatures, so I guess I'm not the target audience for this. I know. Most my audience are like that. That's because that's my community. But I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that, do you find my opinion reasonable at all? Because I'm not like here for trolling. I'm not like most of these people. They'll say, "Oh, Xah is just trolling." No, what the fuck is a troll? I'm talking. This is my opinion. I believe it to be true, and the way I see it, that the Unix, Linux, kind of starting with Unix philosophy. Okay, that's a code, meaning that many things they believe is just untrue, sometimes blatantly untrue. Okay, this is what I believe. This is my honest opinion. So I give you reasons. I just spent 1 hour to explain, the typesetting, why this sucks, in detail reason. Do you think so? So do you think, do I make sense? Okay, that's all I am asking. Do I make sense? If you think I make sense, then maybe you'll change your mind. Maybe then you start to, you think about things. Maybe you're not to be a fanatic about TeX or Linux anymore. Maybe that would be great, because I would feel happy because I persuaded you, of my honest opinion. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. So to me, so it's a code. And it's not like that's why it's a code. It believes many things that's patently false, but however it persists now over for like 30 years. Also Linux, the Unix philosophy, you don't hear much about it today anymore. Most young people, they probably don't know much. They haven't heard of it, except maybe you guys. We still have few people, but it's kind of already dying. And we have new generation, millennial generation, and that's another different thing. Okay, that's it for today. I'm not going to talk about GNU Emacs Calc because that's I guess that's it for today. Any more questions? Because so I think that's it. 90. I talked for 90 minutes. Yeah. Oh yeah, so you bought the book, the art of computer programming. You bought it a couple of days ago, and you are struggling. Are you young? You just persist. Okay, I think it's a great book. Just persist. And also one tip I can give, I think, is that when you read mathematics or programming stuff, especially math, when there are some parts you don't understand, just skip it. Okay, that's actually a very good practical advice. When you read some part of math you don't understand, just skip it. Eventually you'll come back. When you need it, or when you really feel you want to understand it, it will automatically sit in your head. After a few days or month, or even years, it'll come back, and sometimes you'll understand. So that's that. Okay, there's a question about yeah, so you see, that's a kind of, what do you say, a vicious loop. Okay, so yeah, this is also a reason I despise TeX, LaTeX, and Unix so much, and Linux. Why? Because they are free. These people, these code people, sometimes they say, oh, TeX, LaTeX is used everywhere. Look, academia, look, the American Association of Mathematics, they say, look, why? Because TeX is really the best technology. Okay, sometimes they say that. And sometimes then they will say, oh, TeX LaTeX is the best because it's free, meaning it's open source. Okay, it's like a free software foundation. It's a principle of ethics. Then sometimes they will say, then sometimes they'll say, oh, you should use TeX and LaTeX because it's free, meaning it doesn't cost you anything. You can just download it right away. You don't have to pay. So 3 reasons. Okay, TeX is successful, or Linux. You can interchange TeX or Linux. Okay, they are great, fantastic, used by Google. Used by servers. Look, the industrial servers, they all need Linux. So one way they say is that it's because the TeX is superior technology. That's one reason. Sometimes the other reason is you should use Linux or TeX because they are ethical. They are the open source. They are the free software foundation. They are communism. We should share. We should not make money. We should something like that. There's details. So that's a second reason, free software foundation or open source ideology. The third reason, sometimes they say, oh, it's just free. Download it, just download it. You don't have to pay Wolfram Research $2,000 or something, download it and use right away. These 3 reasons, they conflict with each other. They conflict with each other. Because just exactly which one is it? So, because, for example, it's free. So, for example, let me just give you an example. If Linux or TeX is not free, you have to pay. Okay, every time you use Linux or every time you use TeX or LaTeX, you download it, you have to pay. Let's say just $10, not much, just $10 every time you download it. I would say Linux and TeX or whatever GNU software, they will die within a year. They will kind of just like disappear completely within a year. So these people, this open source, they live on a lie. Okay, they know it too because they know it. If you actually require people to pay, they will die. So they mostly, the reason most. Let me tell you what's the reason. There are many reasons, but the most important reason that TeX and Linux, they are kind of popular is because they are free. That means you don't have to pay. That is the most fundamental reason. Not because they are all ethical. They are, they are following, the ethical software share or whatever open source, or because the source is available. No, that's not because of that. The one most important fundamental reason for the whatever popularity, the little popularity of Linux or TeX they enjoy is because they are free, in a sense like cigarette given to free to children. Drugs given to children, that's the most fundamental reason, and most of you know it too, but the Linux, they live in a lie. Okay, and also anyway, okay, that's it about that. So yeah, so why is it, so there's a claim, oh yeah, but all the math organizations, they accept TeX, they don't accept Mathematica. Why is that? Well, because they are organizations. They too, they want money. They don't want, they don't want to pay so much. They how do I say this? Anyway, that's it for today. Okay, that's it for today. Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Buy my tutorial. Okay, if you like my thing, I was going to generate this. I was going to do this in Wolfram language today, but I guess that's it for today. So if you like my thing, Patreon me, Amazon gift card me, PayPal, or you can buy my Emacs tutorial. Emacs and Emacs Lisp tutorial here. Pay now, or you can buy my JavaScript tutorial, JavaScript in depth. Thank you.